All right, good evening. It is 5:30. We'll go ahead and call the Board of Health meeting to order. If you'd please turn off your cell phones or put them on silent, we'd appreciate that. And as we always do, let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, Chris, would you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Strebe?
Here.
Councilmember Berg?
Here.
Councilmember Rowe?
Here.
Councilmember Stevens?
Here.
Councilmember Dalby?
Here.
I make a motion to appoint Matt Dalby to preside as Mayor Pro Tem for tonight's meeting.
Second.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Abstain.
Approve the minutes for meeting number 5 on June 18th, 2019 as presented. Recommendation, approve the minutes.
All righty, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
This is the time, place, and date set to consider condemnation of the structures on the property described as Lot 70 in Williams Park Addition to the City of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa, commonly known as 422 South Ferry.
All righty, and Kevin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. The property was placarded April 24th, 2019 due to dilapidation. The health inspector noted the house was collapsing and that the rear portion of the house was dangerous to enter. The owner told the health inspector he intended to, quote, walk away from the property instead of repairing or removing the structure. Therefore, staff recommends the Board of Health condemn the structure. We do have a representative here from Ditech Financial, the mortgage company, Mr. Rodney Cleash. I believe he would like to make a statement.
All righty, this is a public hearing. If anyone else in the audience wants to address an item, please step to the microphone and do so. Give your name and address. And at this time, we'll call Rodney. And Rodney, you have the floor.
Yes, Rodney Kleitch. I'm an attorney here. I represent Ditech Financial, LLC. I'm with South Law PC in 1401 50th Street, West Des Moines, Iowa, 50266. I'm just here to state for the record that Ditech Financial, LLC is not opposing the condemnation. We are the mortgagee that was given notice of the hearing with respect to the property. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we also have Mr. Larry Roush. Would like to come up and speak. And please state your name and address, and you have the floor.
My name is Larry Roush. I live at 421 South Ferry Street, Ottumwa, Iowa, 52501. Just like to say a few words about that property. We've lived in this area for 21 years, and it's horrendous looking. We look right out our front window at it for 21 years. Neighbors have spoken about vermin and different types of animals crawling into the backside of the house. I presume it's open, but we're really wishing something could be done with this property because it's just, we're concerned about our property values too, being directly across the street. That's really all I have to say is we'd really like to see something get done with this property.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else want to address this item? Okay, seeing none, then I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing. Mayor
Second.
Pro Tem.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Condemn the structures located at 422 South Ferry, order prompt demolition, removal, and leveling of the lot, and direct all costs attendant to such actions, including administrative costs, to be assessed against the property and/or collected from the owner or owners thereof. Recommendation, approve the condemnation of the structures located at 422 South Ferry.
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Okay.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
This is the time, place, and date set to consider condemnation of the structures on the property described as Lot 12 and Block 1 in Manning's second addition to the City of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa, commonly known as 137 South Van Buren.
All right, Kevin, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. This property was placarded on September 13th, 2018 due to dilapidation. Inspectors attempted to get the owners to repair the property. but no one submitted a repair plan or responded to requests to repair or remove the structure. Staff recommends the Board of Health condemn the structure. We do have some pictures on this one as well.
Okay, this is a public hearing again. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to address this item, please step forward and give your name and address. Seeing no one, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Condemn the structures located at 137 South Van Buren, order prompt demolition, removal, and leveling of the lot, and direct all costs attendant to such actions, including administrative costs, to be assessed against the property and/or collected from the owner or owners thereof. Recommendation: approve the condemnation of the structures located at 137 South Van Buren.
Move the recommendations presented.
Second.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. All right, is there any other business to come before the Board of Health? Council. All right, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the
So
Board of
moved.
Health.
Second.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes. 5:36. Okay, and at this time, we'll go ahead and move into the regular meeting. Go ahead and take the roll there, Chris.
Councilmember Berg?
Here.
Councilmember Rowe?
Here.
Councilmember Stevens?
Here.
Councilmember Strebe?
Here.
Councilmember Dalby?
Here.
Motion to appoint Matt Dalby to preside as Mayor Pro Tem for tonight's meeting.
Second.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Abstain?
Items on the consent agenda. Minutes from regular meeting number 18 on June 18th, 2019 as presented. Appointment of Patricia Essick to the Library Board of Trustees, term to expire 7/1/2025. Approve the purchase of a new flight model 3153 NP pump from Electric Pump of Des Moines, Iowa for $13,657.60 to replace one of the 3 Barton's Branch pumps at Water Pollution Control Facility. Resolution number 146, 2019, authorizing the transfer of $22,873 from the Wildwood Highway 34 Urban Renewal Area Fund to the General Fund for a partial repayment of monies advanced. Resolution number 147, 2019, approving the city's wellness program, 1-year extension amendment to Healthy Choices Services Agreement to be provided by the Ottumwa Regional Health Center, term to end on May 23rd, 2020. Resolution number 152, 2019, accepting the work as final and complete for the Beach Phase 4 RFP 2X overhead door replacement project. Resolution number 153, 2019, accepting the work as final and complete for the 2018 RFP number 16 Eisenhower Bridge Repairs Project. Resolution number 154, 2019, setting July 16th, 2019 as the date of a public hearing on the disposition of city-owned property located at 407 West Park. Beer and/or liquor applications for Courtside Bar and Grill at 2511 North Court, Smoke and Joe's Tobacco and Liquor Outlet at 1115 Albia Road, all applications pending final inspections.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Chris, on number 8, was that 401 or 407?
It is 407. We
Seven,
just
okay.
found out today.
Okay, just checking.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes. All right, this is the time. Do I hear a motion for the approval of our agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, take the roll.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes. Okay, moving on down to D, reports from city officers, boards, commissions, and committees. And at this time, I will bounce past that over to City Administrator Andy Morris for some comments and some updates.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. There are 2 items that are listed. You'll see the ones that are on the agenda. I've got 3 additional items as well, Mr. Mayor, that I will share with council. Very first item you see is the Healthy Neighbors update. I know there's been pieces in the news media. That is the program that we're utilizing certain monies to incentivize people to make exterior improvements to their home. homes. We've received several applications at this point, and I indicated this in the weekly report. Joni Keith, our HR and city attorney, did a really good job of, quite frankly, cleaning up that application. We generated one today, and I handed that out to a gentleman. We're still taking applications, but our goal is to try and utilize hopefully some funding that we would hopefully receive from the Legacy Foundation. In addition to that, the city also has some leftover monies from a paint grant a few years ago. So I just want to let you know that program, as of this afternoon, I'm confident we'll be able to move forward on this a little bit faster than what we'd anticipated. The next item, Mr. Mayor, you see Andy Wartenberg, the CVB Director, will provide an update. And with this, I will turn it back over to you for you to introduce him.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Andy Wartenberg is our Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director. And if you'd step up, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to provide a quick update on some of the things the CVB's been working on. Next slide. Really, our major focus, has really turned to starting to get some groups here. This is really job one for you. You see some logos up there. Top one there, PDI, Professional Developers of Iowa. This is an RFP we responded to. We collaborated with the Office of Economic Development, and we did get this bid. They will be coming here in 2020. It's about 300 room nights for us right there. The Iowa Missouri Ford Club is something that came out of our Ottumwa All-Stars program. They are coming here in 2 months. We have responded to a bid to IAWEA. We are competing with the big guys on this one. We feel pretty good about this. We had the conference back in 2016. American Planning Association, we will be submitting an RFP to them at the end of next week. And I should mention that a lot of these things we're working on are really collaborative efforts between ourselves, OECD, Area 15, Legacy Foundation, and of course, Bridgeview Center. The Border Collie Handlers Association will be here in October. The Young Professionals will be here in a few weeks. And finally, the Diocese of Davenport on the bottom, that is the Theological Conference. That is, at last count, 2,300 people coming to Ottumwa. Unfortunately, mostly day trips, but we will get some room nights out of that. So really, this is what we need to do. We need to keep this momentum going. We need to have professional RFPs. That's why we're collaborating. We're also going to be contracting with the videographer. We're going to do a video focusing only on groups. Show the Bridgeview Center, show our attractions, show our other venues, things like that. So, next slide. We have updated most of our marketing material over the past few months. I think all of you have seen our new visitor guide. We did a run just of 500. We had to make some new updates. The new print run was ordered today. This was really a lot of revisions, a lot of cosmetic. My board and I have agreed we're going to do a complete overhaul of our visitor guide, within the next year. I mean, in a perfect world, this will probably be something I will not live to see. CVBs won't use paper visitor guides anymore, but it's going to happen eventually. And, obviously, everything you see here is digital as well. We have a new restaurant guide, which is really sharp, and that is at the printers right now. And also what we did was we have just finishing up a press kit. It was our thought that, we have all these candidates come here, but what we have with them is media as well. And that should be done within the next couple of weeks. And what we'll be doing is distributing it to local political organizations, national political organizations, and local and national media. So they have that information when they come here. They want to write something about Ottumwa, they know what to write about. And that'll be on our website probably within the next 3 weeks. So greaterottumwacvb.org, I urge everyone to get on. And of course, now our website has been populated with an IMAP as well. Next slide. We continue our digital marketing. This is a very, very big part and has been since the day I started. Obviously, our weekly email blasts continue. Facebook posts. We normally do now about 3 or 4 a week. Our Iowa Tourism Partnership. The last one there is something new that Iowa Tourism is doing. That's called Now and Later. It's basically if we have featured events, we can post them on their website right there. But I really want to talk, we've shifted a lot of our focus to Instagram. That's what folks are looking at now. And instead of just posting things, we've done a couple of campaigns. As you recall, we did one in February. We just finished one in May on outdoor monuments to remember. And you can see, some of the things we did. And the nice thing about this, it really ties in the whole community into what we're doing. But you can see we have 60 new followers and more than 500 engagements. So, we are trying to become the Instagram kings of Ottumwa right here. And please follow us on Instagram, see what we're doing there. Iowa Tourism Cooperative Partnership. What this is once a year, the Iowa Tourism Office offers us both digital and print advertising. They buy it in bulk. They resell it to CVBs in a cheaper fashion. And what we do is on a given day at 10 a.m., all the CVBs get on the phone and we try and reserve what we want. And we got everything we needed. And I won't go through them all, but you can see we are continuing to go digital here. You can see our total spend for this year is a little under $4,000. And again, I would compare and contrast that to one print ad. A full page might cost like $2,500. So, we think this is a better bang for our buck. This is what we did last year. We had good results from it. And really, the other great thing about this, it's measurable for us. So we know where our dollars are going, what we're getting out of it, what kind of bang for buck we're getting. Midwest Travel Network. This is a group of bloggers and travel writers. And basically what they do is they go around the Midwest and they write about destinations. We had the president of the company here a couple months ago, and I took her around Ottumwa for a couple days. We are going to be doing a familiarization trip for 6 of the top bloggers in October. Basically, it'll be about 3 days, 2 nights. We already have an itinerary in place, but this is going to cost us probably about $3,500 total. But I think, working with Midwest Travel Network, it's really going to kind of narrow down. We don't want bloggers here who are not going to write the good things or not what we want about. So this is going to be some great exposure for us. Gateway signage. As you know, CVB's been working in partnership with a lot of groups, including Legacy on this. Where we are right now, and the city, of course, we're working on, city's working on, we're trying to get some more reasonable quotes for the 4 signs, and you can see the design right there. The idea being is that once we have these quotes in place, this is going to be part of our Great Places grant next year, okay? And also, we've been working with Area 15. They have provided us with a sort of a preliminary list of wayfinding signs and locations, which we sort of have consensus on. So our next step will be to look at these quotes and really start working on this grant and make this happen. And of course, with the gateway signs, and my thanks to Larry and Kevin for your help in this project. We have 4 of them, east, west, north, and south. Okay. Marketing partnerships. If you recall, we changed from a regular sponsorship into marketing partnership. What we do now is, upon approval of a committee and a board, if we give money to an event, it goes towards advertising. I really, really like this program because what it's doing is every time we spend a sponsorship dollar, we're ensuring that it's getting the word of Ottumwa out. These are the 3 we sponsored so far. We have more applications coming in right now. But if we go to the next slide, I'll show you the best thing about it. You can recall I got the economic impact model from the University of Iowa. We put it into place for Major League Eating. And the great thing about it is we no longer for these events have to say, well, it looked like it was busy. Okay, here is here's the numbers right there. You can see good attendance. Something we guess about 17% of people came from out of the 52501 zip code. Only 0.04% came from out of state. And you can see the bottom one there, 9,673, subtracting all expenses. So the great thing is now we can get a better idea of what some of these events are doing for us. And we get these numbers by going out and literally taking surveys and then plugging them into our model. And if anybody's interested in the model, please let me know. I'll be happy to share it with you and go through the methodology of it right there. And finally, I took a look at our numbers. This is from our STR data for the first 4 months of the calendar year, 18 to 19. Looking good. You can see occupancy up 5.7%. Next one. Demand, which I think is very important, almost 25% right there. And finally, revenue, about 25% up. So the first 4 months, again, with our STAR data, looks pretty good. So that's some of the basics we're working on. So if anybody has any questions.
Okay. Council have any questions or anything for Andy? Okay. Andy, I don't get over and talk to you very much, but I appreciate what you're doing. And this was a great presentation. And
thank you.
Seeing the numbers from the canteen event was something I was definitely interested in seeing. So
yeah, I think
awesome
it's very important for us to, to know what these events are doing, not just for the event, but for the community. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'll pass that back over to City Administrator Andy Morris.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. The next item, digital door locks. We're obtaining quotes on that. You may recall that was included in my weekly report to council to provide some perspective to that program. I think, as everyone can remember, there have been discussions about creating a system whereby, I know like in my previous community, you had either a scan card or code that you, quite frankly, knew when you came into the facility. Right now, there are keys that are distributed. I tell the story that when I was here in 06, 07, I could have kept that key and I could have gained entry to that building. So the card scan system not only will bring some, quite frankly, discipline to that. In addition, we're looking at it at possibly some other facilities as well, where, as I said, we're obtaining quotes. I give a lot of credit to Bob J. and Edward Wilson. They're the ones that are leading that effort. The key scan cards would be for the employees. It would note when the employees come into the facility, and also note when they leave. But again, that's an item we are working on quotes, as I said, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Mr. Mayor, the next item is the landfill scale briefing. Kevin Flanagan, our city planner, is here, and with that, I'll turn it back over to you and introduce him.
Okay, Kevin Flanagan, Health and Inspections Department Head, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Recent inspections at the scale at the landfill have caused for us to move up our idea of the scale replacement. Tomorrow we'll be meeting with Barker Lamar at the landfill to do some work there as far as coming up with materials for our upcoming Solid Waste Commission meeting. We've moved the date for that meeting up to the 10th. I'm sure you noticed the email that went out this morning, and we'll be presenting a couple of different options to the commission there for scale replacement. And after that, when the commission has made a decision regarding that, we'll proceed with bids and spec materials with Barker Lamar and move forward going here into August so we can make a decision and get on schedule for that replacement.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions for Kevin? Concerns? Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, one last item, and that is Lieutenant Farrington's with us here this evening. This is in regards to the 12-hour shifts. You may recall that was an item that council wanted to see executed, and Chief McAndrew has fulfilled that duty responsibility. We're coming up into the new fiscal year, and again, the lieutenant's going to share the workings of that plan. So with this, I'll turn it back over to you so we can introduce him.
Okay. All right. And good evening, Lieutenant Farrington. Step on up here and you have the floor.
Thank you, council and city leaders. At the direction of the council, we're going to be moving forward with the 12-hour shifts starting Sunday, August 4th of this year. Over the past several months, we've been meeting with union representatives and Mr. John Thomas with the Teamsters. Those meetings have been cooperative, productive, and have really paved the way to implement this 12-hour shift. We know that there's going to be some bumps in the road, so to speak, that are unforeseen. Therefore, we already have a pre-planned meeting with the union that's going to take place 3 months after we implement it in August. We just received Officer Daniels back from military duty. He'll be attending the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy in August of this year until December. At that point, he'll start our PTO program of 15 weeks, so he'll be out on his own in April of 2020. We currently have 2 positions open for the Ottumwa Police Department. We are looking at our civil service, our certified list. One of those is non-certified. The plan is that person will attend the academy with Officer Daniels. The second person is a certified peace officer. So if that all works out, they will begin the PTO program in late August and be out on their own by December. So that's my report to you. If there's any questions, I'd like to answer them at this time.
Okay, any questions by the council? No questions? Thank you, Lieutenant. We
Thank
appreciate the update very much. Be safe.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have anything else. I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you,
All right.
sir.
Thank you. Okay, moving down to item E. This is the point in the meeting where we identify citizens desiring, to comment on agenda items. If there are such folks in the audience, would you please fill out a form there on the rail and bring it up here to the city clerk? Seeing none. We don't have any. Okay, seeing none, we'll move along to section F, departmental recommendations.
Informational update on new city logos on city fleet. Recommendation, provide an update for city council members on cost of new logos on fleet items.
Okay, Larry, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. A new city logo was developed by various community groups and adopted by the City Council on November 20th, 2018. As part of the new branding effort, Public Works replaced vehicle and equipment identification decals on the city fleet. This effort included 17 departments for a total of 143 individual vehicles or pieces of equipment. We excluded vehicles scheduled for replacement or equipment such as stump grinders, brush cutters, pavers, etc. Each department will be charged based on the actual cost as described in the attached spreadsheet. Total spent to date is $5,599.80. One note that I want to point out, the same crew that did the vehicle stickers will also be replacing the logos on office doors throughout City Hall as time allows. This will be fill-in work, very similar to what we did for the vehicles, rain days, things like that, when they can come in and do it.
Okay, is there any questions for Larry on that by the
Mr. Mayor,
council?
I don't want to hog this, but
Certainly.
one item, it would be interesting to note. I know Larry indicated on this, and I realize there's a bit of a challenge. We talked about this, and that is stickers that are specific to public safety, to police and fire. I think there's a question there as to positioning. You want to put some background on that?
One of the things we looked at as far as the police vehicles is when you look at the badging they have on theirs, it's pretty expansive. It covers both doors and part of the fenders. That is something that, it's possible to look at and see if we can just add it. It's a little bit different. We don't do those. That's something that's contracted out when they purchase it. Same with the fire. If they come up with something from a size or a location that will blend into what they currently have for badging, then we could work with that. But as of today, we don't have that.
Mr. Mayor, just one other question then. So are the, again, the chief of police, the fire chief, are they in contact with you about how that would?
We've discussed that. Again, I don't know if Tom, if you want to make comments, it's really kind of finding a location that would blend into the current scheme.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I had.
Okay, are there any other questions, comments by the council?
I guess I would just say, when we adopted the logo, I don't think we, had concerns so much as for the vehicles as the marketing materials and the signage and, the wayfinding. So, I don't think it's an urgent to move forward on those other cosmetic things. It was more of the website and the branding and, those things.
Well, one of the reasons we moved forward initially when we discussed this, we thought, wait, it makes sense if we only put them on as we replaced equipment. One of the things that was pointed out early on in this process, a lot of our vehicles are on a 20-year replacement, so you wouldn't see them for some time. So we moved forward. And again, our crew did this throughout the winter. Typically when the equipment was in for some sort of service or maintenance, then the other crew would come in, they might hit 3 one day, 5 the next, until we went through the whole process as time allowed.
Okay, All righty. The recommendation here is to just provide an update, so I don't believe we need to take a vote or any action on this item. Okay, thanks, Larry. All right, moving on.
Approve the purchase of 15 tasers with batteries and cartridges for a total cost of $21,825 for the Ottumwa Police Department. Recommendation, receive presentation and approve the purchase of 15 tasers.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented. Second.
Okay, Chief, you have
Good
the floor.
evening, council. Tasers are used as a tool to gain control or subdue a violent suspect. They have been critical in helping officers to end violent confrontations without having to resort to use of deadly force. The current model the department uses has been discontinued and can no longer be repaired. This will replace all discontinued models the department currently has. This is part of our funding through the CIP. It's a budgeted item.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? Any of the council? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Go ahead and call the roll.
Councilmember Berg,
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens,
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe,
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
Yes.
Award the contract for the 2019 RFP number 6, sidewalk replacement at City Hall, and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. Recommendation, award RFP number 6, sidewalk replacement at City Hall to McClure and Company Concrete of Ottumwa, Iowa, and the amount of $3,908.75.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Okay, Larry?
This contract is for replacement of a section of sidewalk at City Hall. The sidewalk is being replaced with 6 foot wide and approximately 70 foot in length. The sidewalk is located on the 4th Street entrance side. Bids were received and opened by the City of Ottumwa on June 25th, 2019 at 2 p.m. 4 sets of plans were distributed and 2 bids were received. The low bidder is McClure and Company Concrete of Florence, Iowa, in the amount of $3,908.75. It will be paid for out of the CIP sidewalk fund.
Okay, any questions or comments for Larry? Okay, then take the roll, please.
Councilmember Berg,
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens,
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe,
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
Yes.
Award the contract for the 2019 RFP number 7, Ottumwa Public Library Sidewalk Project, and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. Recommendation, award RFP number 7, Ottumwa Public Library Sidewalk Project to Christie Construction of Ottumwa, Iowa, and the amount of $9,282.75.
All right, is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
All right, Larry, thank you.
This project will eliminate settlement between existing sidewalk panels and increase the width to meet the passing requirement in the ADA standards. The existing walk is 3 foot 3 inches wide and will be increased to a 5 foot walk and 5 inches thick. The walk is located on the south side of the building and is approximately 100 feet in length. Bids were again opened by the City of Ottumwa on June 25th, 2019, and only one bid was received in the amount of $9,282.75. The project shall be completed by September 3rd, 2019, and this is coming from the library operating budget.
Okay, are there any questions or comments for Larry on this item? Okay,
Councilmember Berg,
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens,
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe,
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
yes.
Award the contract for the 2019 RFP number 8, Ray Street Sidewalk Installation Project, and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. Recommendation, award RFP number 8, Ray Street Sidewalk Installation Project to Christie Construction of Ottumwa, Iowa, and the amount of $3,291.45.
Okay, is there a
Move the
motion?
recommendation as presented. Second.
Thanks, Mark and Victor. Okay, there you have the floor.
This contract is for the installation of a 4 foot wide section of sidewalk on Ray Street over the Jefferson Drainage Ditch. The work will complete the work associated with the Ray Street culvert. The culvert was installed in 2017 and the street was replaced this spring. Bids were received and opened by the City of Ottumwa on June 25th, 2019 at 2 p.m. 4 sets of plans were distributed and 2 bids were received. The low bidder is Christie Construction of Ottumwa, Iowa, in the amount of $3,291.45. And this will also come out of the $120,000 budgeted in CIP for sidewalk improvements.
Okay, any questions or comments on this item by the council? Okay, go ahead and take the roll.
Councilmember Berg,
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens,
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe,
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
Yes.
This is the time, place, and date set for a public hearing approving the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the 4/22/2019 apron improvements project at the Ottumwa Regional Airport.
Okay, Chris, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor and Council. This is a public hearing on the proposed plans and specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the apron improvements project at the Ottumwa Regional Airport. Plans and specifications for this project have been drafted by our airport consultants, Kirkham Michael. Estimated cost for this project is $321,352. Bids will be received and opened by the City of Ottumwa on July 30th, 2019 at 2 p.m. at City Hall at 105 East 3rd Street, Ottumwa, Iowa. The bid report and bid award recommendation will be presented at the City Council meeting on August 6th, 2019, or at a later date determined by staff.
Okay, this is a public hearing. If anyone in the audience wants to address this item, please step forward. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing, Your Honor.
Second.
Take the roll.
Councilmember Berg,
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens,
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe,
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
Yes.
Resolution number 134, 2019, approving the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the 4/22/2019 apron improvements project at the Ottumwa Regional Airport. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 134, 2019.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented. Second.
Okay. Any other questions by the council for Chris? Anything about this?
Councilmember Berg,
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens,
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe,
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
This is the time, place, and date set for a public hearing on proposed ordinance number 3157, 2019, amending the Code of Ordinances by changing the zoning classification on certain property located at 608 East Williams in the city of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa, from R2, two-family residential, to R5, multifamily residential.
All right, Kevin, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. 608 East Williams, I think the former site of the Agassiz School. This project would be a similar project to what we did at the former Washington School site. There will be, our developer will be going in for tax credits in this year's schedule in December. Our developer is here tonight, Mr. Jim Danaher. I think he'd like to do a short presentation for you, if you will, for the before we continue.
Absolutely. Mr. Danaher, if you want to step up to the microphone. It's nice to see you back in Ottumwa again.
Thank you.
Bet.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We are the owners of the old Agassiz School. We still call it Agassiz School, which we would like to convert to apartments. It's quite the building, we think. The floor plans of that property will be able to make about 36 apartments. The current layout, we're using a lot of existing windows, walls, columns, and that. We would have one studio, 16 one-bedrooms, 11 two-bedrooms, and 8 three-bedrooms. Now, we'll get in there and we might have to move the numbers around a little bit, but that's where we think we'll end up, right at 36 units. Of course, you know the building. We like this building a lot. We've started the work on getting the building recognized as a historic structure. The architectural feature, this front as well as some other elements, we hope will qualify as a historic structure. A local historian, Mrs. Newman, Molly Newman, is doing that work for us. It's a lengthy process, subject to approval of the state. We know how they think, and we think this building will qualify. And then we have to renovate it to their standards also, and they also provide some funding. So that's a benefit if we can get that. The next, there are some nice architectural elements on the building, outside as well as inside. Next slide, please. It's a great building, by the way, and so many people know it better than I, but structurally, it's a great building. It turns out it's 80 years old, and it's solid. It's built like a fort. So it'll be a very good building to convert for this use. And we think it'll be it's the highest and best use we know of the building. It was built in 1940. That makes it 79 years old. We have the original plans. We were able to locate the original plans from the archives of the architect. So we're able to use those for our historic work, and that's shortcuts the work we have to do there. The gym will be converted to apartments on 2 levels, lower and upper. So we have plans for that. And then in meeting the historical guidelines, a lot of the elements of the building will be refurbished or maintained, like for instance, terrazzo floor. I'm not sure about the lockers, but sometimes that might even be a requirement to keep the lockers. So we go through that procedure of approvals. They have a lot of guidelines which we will adhere to in order to get funding to do the project. That's a site plan or an overview of the site. Nice, good sized site. We're not planning to expand the building. We're using the footprint of the building as is. And the next slide shows our proposed layout for the parking and the playground area. This will be apartments for families. Now, families can have seniors in it as well as families. So there's a pretty nice playground area there too, which would be great to have. This is a concept layout for the studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms on the ground floor. You'll see that the gym is used, converted to apartments. And then on the second floor, similar layout. We're following the classroom layouts as much as possible. Go back to this is our best guess as to the parking layout and all that. It has to go, of course, go through the site plan approval process. We think there's a good demand for the apartments in Ottumwa. I'm from Fairfield originally, and for 40 years, I've been looking at buildings here in Ottumwa, and we know that there's a limited new apartments come onto the market. The latest is 50 apartments at Washington. That we don't think meets the demand. Our research shows that over 1,700 people travel over 30 minutes every day to work in Ottumwa. Those are potential customers if they're driving too far to get to work. We think that's, as well as other customers within Ottumwa. And the housing stock in Ottumwa, some of it's outdated, and that's creates demand for new housing. So these would, again, be apartments. The rent would be averaging between $500 and $750 on average. That's 1 bedroom's $500, 2 bedrooms $650, a 3 bedroom $750. Those are average numbers. Some are higher and some are lower than that. So if you have any questions, please.
Yes, sir. I realize this is just a zoning change, but I have to ask, given that there was another structure in town, and this is apples and oranges probably, that desired to meet the historical landmark requirements. And can you just tell the council and the public why you're pursuing that, what the advantages of that are? Because as we've seen, if those aren't met or funding isn't procured, that can put a project back or start over. So can you sort of explain the process of why you're seeking that status for this property?
We're seeking the status for this property so that we can have the additional funds to restore it in the historic manner. They have guidelines for windows, terrazzo floor, as well as the exterior brick, et cetera. There's quite a few guidelines we'd have to meet. Now, we do that for 2 reasons. One is to be able to restore it, have enough funds to restore it. The second is to get the additional funding to meet that. It is a lengthy process, and it's not a guarantee that you get the funding. The first step is to get it established as a historic structure. It's called Part 1. That's approved by the state as well as the federal. The second step is to get the architectural plans approved by them according to how you'll meet their standards for renovation. And the third step is the finished product and the inspections. There's an advantage financially if we can get the funding. So we want to pursue that angle. It's not the end of the world if we don't, but we would prefer that because it supports it allows us to do the renovation at higher standards. And we prefer that.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, we're long-term owners. We're 30-year owners. I won't be here, but still, we have to commit to a 30-year program. And maintenance to us is a very big part of the program. So if we can spend more now and less later, that's our angle, because we have to pay those expenses every year on maintenance. But if we have better equipment, better original design, etc., there's less maintenance going forward, and that's very important.
Go ahead, Mark. Any question?
Two quick questions. You mentioned the price range that you're looking at.
Yeah.
What's within that price range, what's the target market you're going for?
When our funding process, we commit to a range of income levels, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, and market. And there's a breakdown by percentages for each one. 30% is lower, of course, and then market is whatever the market will bear. So that's the prices that I gave you were averages for 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. When I said a 1 bedroom is 500, there'll be some at 400, but the average, there'll be some at 600. The average will be about 500 for a 1 bedroom because there's these different price points. The same is applied for a 3 bedroom, average 750. A market rate, which is not restricted, might be 925. So this is putting them all together and dividing by the number to get the average.
And the second question, you had listed out the timeline for your grant opportunities. When do you expect best case scenario construction to begin? That might be a loaded question at this point, but
yeah, best case scenario is really financing is the hardest part. Once we get the financing, we think that we've passed 50% of the job because it's a very difficult process. But we compete for money both at the state in several programs, 3 specific programs: workforce housing, historic money, and affordable housing credits, all these different sources. Each one is competitive. So we have to get all 3. Sometimes it takes 2 years to get all 3, sometimes longer. Once we get that, it's a 2-year process of construction and lease up. 1 year of construction and another 1 year to lease it up according to the financial projections. We have to reach a 90% occupancy for 90 days. And then that's it's called stabilization. So that's a 2-year process. We'd hope to start construction within 2 years. And that's pretty optimistic, realistically.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, then we'll do the public hearing.
I want to make sure I heard you right. Probably around 30% would be low income. Is that correct?
No, let's see. 90% of the units are considered affordable. They meet the standards of affordable. And that means that the party that lives there makes between 80% to 30% of the area's median income. It's a formula you have to just plug in. And so we have 90% of planning 90% of the units would be affordable.
Okay, my second question is, you purchased land some time ago over on Asbury. You have a game plan for that?
Oh, yes. It's apartments also. We have the site plan being worked on the civil plan as well as architectural plans, as well as the financing. Financing is with the Wells Fargo Bank. The architectural work has started, the civil work has started, and we're out for bid on other parts of the engineering work.
So when do you think that might?
Again, that's subject to financing. Once a year, we compete for this tax credit funding. There's a session at the end of this year, competition, and there'll be another one next year. The whole state competes for the funding there. We decide whether we go in based on our predetermined score that we evaluate. We know how it's scored. If we think we'll win, we go in because it's very expensive. If we don't, we have to really wait till the next year and see the plan. The plan changes every year.
So do you have a guesstimate when you might be able to do something there?
Yes, I would hope we can start construction there within 18 months.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to address this issue or item, please step forward. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Let's take the roll.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Ordinance number 3157, 2019, amending the Code of Ordinances by changing the zoning classification on certain property located at 608 East Williams in the city of Ottumwa, Wapello County, Iowa from R2 to R5. Recommendation passed the first consideration of ordinance number 3157, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented, Your Honor.
Second.
Okay.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Resolution number 148, 2019, approving change order number 2 and accepting the work as final and complete and approving the final pay request for the beach renovations Phase 3 project 2018 Contract B. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 148, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Okay. Good afternoon, Gene. You have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. This project consists of renovation to the indoor pool facility at the beach at Ottumwa. Contract B involved remodeling of the offices and the kitchen area. Change order number 2 includes additional cabinetry and drywall work in the kitchen area. Change order number 2 increases the contract amount by $1,296 for a new contract sum of $81,189.25. The contractor has completed the above referenced work according to the plans and specs. This will authorize payment and release all retainages. The final amount due is $5,610.11. And total Phase 3 costs to date are $498,901.11.
Okay. Are there any questions on this item by the council? Okay.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Resolution number 149, 2019, approving change order number 1 for the beach renovations Phase 3 Contract A. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 149, 2019.
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Okay, Gene.
The City Council approved the contract in the amount of $143,700 to RG Construction of Ottumwa, Iowa through resolution number 204-2018 on July 24th, 2018. This project consists of the final repairs to the outdoor concrete pools and decking at the beach at Ottumwa. Change order number 1 includes additional concrete repairs to the floors of the outdoor pools and deletion of select sidewalks under the fiberglass slide structures. Change order number 1 increases the contract amount by $5,268.97 for a new contract sum of $148,968.97. Total Phase 3 costs to date are $504,170.08.
Okay. Are there any questions on this item for Gene? No? Okay. Take the roll, Chris, please.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Resolution number 150, 2019, approving change order number 2 and accepting the work as final and complete and approving the final pay request for the beach renovations Phase 3 project 2018 Contract D. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 150, 2019.
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Okay, Gene.
This project consists of renovation to the main power feeds to the beach at Ottumwa. Contract D involve replacing 2 motor control centers along with additional select electrical repairs. Change order number 2 includes adding code compliant electrical grounding for the motor control center located in the filter building. Change order number 2 increases the contract amount by $985.22 for a new contract sum of $59,066.46. The contractor has completed the above referenced work according to the request for proposals. This will authorize payment and release all retainages. The final amount due is $3,889.28. And the total Phase 3 cost to date are now $505,155.30.
Okay, any questions of the council? Okay, Chris, take the roll.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes.
Resolution number 151, 2019, approving change order number 2 and accepting the work as final and complete and approving the final pay request for the Beach Phase 4 RFP 4X Safety Netting Replacement Project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 151, 2019.
Is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Okay, Gene, you have the floor.
Beach Phase 4 RFP-4X replace the safety netting and rope around the children's play area and wave pool at the beach at Ottumwa. Change order number 2 increases the contract amount by $395 for additional repairs to the netting posts for a new contract sum of $9,983.88. The contractor has completed the above referenced work according to the request for proposals. This will authorize payment and release all retainages. The final amount due is $874.44. And the total Phase 4 costs to date are $594,643.72.
Okay, again, are there any questions on this item for Gene? Okay, Chris?
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes. Thanks, Gene. Okay, moving on down to item J. This would be the public forum. Does the council or any other department head or staff member have anything to say that they want to present or any good and welfare for the evening? No? All right, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Berg?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes.
Councilmember Strebe?
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby?
Yes. 6:28. Thank you.